Hello and welcome to New You Wow Going Places podcast. I am Yvonne, and today we are going to be celebrating epic breakthroughs in our community. We're actually honored to be joined by Cassandra McKissack, all the way from Ohio, USA. She's an author, keynote speaker, TV and talk radio host who instills in her audiences the ability to own their power and discover their possibilities, offering insight and inspiration. Cassandra, how are you today?
Hi, hello, I'm great. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited about this opportunity, and hello to the audience.
Wonderful. Wonderful to have you with us. So, we always start with something just a little bit to break the ice. If you could tell us something interesting about yourself that most people do not know, a hidden gem.
Most people do not know that I have suffered with what I call paralysis analysis. And just overthinking, overanalyzing, trying to figure things out, or trying to figure out why I can't figure things out. And some of that imposter syndrome was playing a big part of that too. I didn't think I was smart enough to go to school, and then I didn't think I was smart enough to go to college, and just had these issues with thinking I was smart enough. And so, most people don't know that about me.
But look at what you've done despite. Amazing. And, we're going to take it back to the very beginning. If you could share, when were you first bitten by the entrepreneurial bug? And then what led to your decision to follow through?
Well, it's funny because I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Nice.
But I didn't think that was for me. So I went to college. I thought, I'm just going to get a degree, fit in with everybody else. And, that's what was in my mind. Now, my dad was involved with the company, and I did help him with his company for a little while. And but I just didn't think long term that was for me.
Okay.
And then after I got out of college and got my first position, and then maybe by the time I got a second position, it just didn't feel like I was in the right place anymore. It was a feeling. And I even remember taking off a whole week from the job just to fact find why I, wasn't happy with what I was doing and what else might fit, because I didn't know what it was that I would be doing if I didn't do what I was doing now. And at that time I was working as a director at a community college over their support services department. And so I just didn't know what I would do as an entrepreneur. I think that was part of it. Yeah. I did feel a little leaning toward public speaking, but just still, just not quite sure of myself. And I think sometimes when you have several talents and several gifts, sometimes you just don't know, because I've written a book, I've been on television, had my own talk show, I've been on radio. So I've done a few things, but I didn't know if there was still something else missing. And I think the piece that I felt like was missing was coaching. Because when I took like a Myers-Briggs test, I kept getting things that came up that said I was natural at teaching.
And aren't those always very surprising and revealing? Because what you expect to get is not what you get. So that's great.
Yes. So now I've started coaching. I've finished a coaching program, and I am ready to start coaching. So I really feel that's a good fit, because I enjoy helping people. I really do.
Beautiful. And it's excellent when you're called to serve and you respond to that calling. In fact, if you could tell us a little bit more about your professional journey, specifically any speed bumps or roadblocks that you've had to overcome on your road to success.
Well, I think the biggest thing I had to overcome was, if I didn't do what I was training for professionally, what would I do as a career? I think that was my stumbling block, just trying to really understand. And then I just came to a place where I said, well, I know I like coaching. Didn't want to go back to school to get another degree. I have a master's degree, started a PhD, and but didn't want to go back for counseling. per se. And so coaching seemed like the logical conclusion. You know, I got certified as a coach. And then I said, you know what, this is a training that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to go to college again for another 2, 3, 4 years, whatever was required. It was like, I just needed something that could get me started a little bit sooner, you know, while I'm still working on the certification and getting things in place so that I'd be ready. And then the public speaking. I got plenty of opportunities while I worked at the community college to speak on different topics. We had what's called like a continuing education program. And so I was called on many times to speak on different topics. And that really helped me break the ice, because a lot of times I'd stand in front of people and I'd be so uncomfortable. I feel like I'm sweating. Where's the bathroom?
Yeah, they say that the number one fear is public speaking. So
yes.
Sounds like you just took the leap and you did it over and over till it kind of got to be a second memory muscle for you.
Yes.
Nice.
You know what happened? I read a book, Yvonne, called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Nice.
That book helped me. It nailed exactly where I was. And it said the only way to overcome the fear is to do the thing that frightens you.
Absolutely.
And the position that I had to speak in front of people. And I just found if I took really good notes and practiced as much of my speech as possible, that when it came time for me to speak, then I've had a greater comfort level.
Yeah.
And that's just something I taught myself. I mean, no one even told me to do that. I think someone might have said take some notes or something, but I didn't want to be flipping through note cards. That felt uncomfortable when I'm trying to communicate. And so I just felt like if I memorized most of my speech, then when it's time to make the presentation, you know, that helped me quite a bit.
Fantastic. And it's funny you mentioned that element of facing the fear. Just recently, I saw some interesting information, a biohack, where it was explained that what you feel when you're afraid. So the beating heart, the sweaty hands, the short breathing, you know, the body has the exact same responses when you're excited.
Yes.
The key is the body doesn't know the difference. It's all in our mind. So in the first 3 seconds, if you can face whatever that fear is, you're going to trick your body into thinking, I'm not afraid, I'm excited. So you take that fear and you go, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to jump on that stage. I can't make a presentation. And before you know it, your body's like, okay. Kudos to you for facing the fear. That is wonderful. Grab the bull by the horns, right?
Yes. And it seemed like, you know, I mean, it wasn't like doing it 2 or 3 times. It was over years. I had to just keep, you know, saying, I'm going to do it, you know, when people would ask me to speak. And I was always getting put in positions where people would ask me to speak. And so I understood it was something that I was going to have to push myself into to overcome the fear. And it's like anything, you know, when you first ride a bike, you keep falling off, right? You get back up, you try again, you keep getting back up, even though, you know, I've got the scarred knees and, you know, the bloody knees to show, you know, what it took to ride the bike. I kept doing what it takes to be successful at riding a bike, at doing whatever. You know, when I used to run, you know, you've got to keep walking, walk fast, jog, run. You just do the many steps. You take the first step. You show up and take the step that's necessary. You might have to pick up the phone and call someone. That might be a nervous thing to do. You might have to have a meeting with someone you've never met before that's a president of a company. That can feel overwhelming. I remember the first time I met the president of the university, I could hardly talk. He was trying to talk to me. I was just, of course, trying to be polite, but I'd answer the question politely and I'd
And it looks like we might have a connection issue. Can you still hear us? Oh, there you go.
That's all any of us can do, right?
Okay. And so go ahead and repeat that for us. What you said, you met the president of the university and you could hardly breathe?
Yes, it was nervous. I was part of a university women's committee, and we were
Wow.
having a women's conference, and the president was invited to have words. And so, since I was part of the planning committee, I sat at the same table as the president of the university, and so I actually was like across from him. And so, him being polite, of course, hi, how are you? It wasn't any deep questions, but that was still feeling very, a little nervous and, nervous wreck, trying to just sit there comfortably.
But like you said, the key is you did it. And I always say, every time you step outside that comfort zone, we grow, we become better. So good for you. Now, just curious, with all that you've done so far, which accomplishment are you most proud of? Which one brings you the most joy?
Being on television, that was quite coming from a person who was very shy, many times, twisting my words or, feeling tongue-tied, and to think that I'd have an opportunity to have my own television show was absolutely tremendous. And then writing my first book. Oh my God, I never thought that I would write a book. And my first book was called The Gift. And basically the book is really about a journey, how I learned how to, appreciate the gifts that I had and to find out more about myself. I had to do a lot of fact finding to find out who I was. And when I wrote the book, I'd always liked to write, always all my life. And then one day I just sat down and I kept writing. And I think you had a similar story, right? Yeah. So, but it took me about a month to get it together. But, when it was time to write, it was like it came to me.
Wonderful.
Almost like I don't know if you've ever had an open vision where you, like a premonition of something to come. I've had those before. And so that's how the book writing came. It just came. And it was like my hand had no control. I just kept writing, what I was thinking. I just kept put pen to paper, and it was almost like magic. It was like, something came in and assisted me in writing. It was a beautiful thing.
How long ago was that? When did you write that book?
I wrote the first book 2016.
Oh, wonderful.
That's when I got it published. It's on Amazon. I was part of a team of writers with the second book about women in leadership in the Bible. That was really interesting. The book was called Junia. And it was about women in leadership and how that leadership was very prevalent in the Bible. A lot of people don't see it or understand it. And so you have 40 women who wrote their view. And of course, we did some fact finding to show the women that really led the way during biblical times.
Excellent. Wow. Those are both phenomenal achievements. So question, given that we currently are still in the depths of the pandemic, and many, many people are experiencing heightened levels of fear and anxiety, what have you found to be effective ways of coping with that?
Well, for me, the overwhelm, the anxiety, I didn't have a lot of it, only because I had went through a season probably 7 or 8 years before where I experienced a lot of overwhelm, anxiety about life and living. I had gotten a divorce and my life was just so much upheaval, and so many things happened that made me grow and mature as a person. Of course, I did not feel good that we were having a pandemic, that the corona was going on. But I feel like I had went through a life-death type of situation with all the turmoil that was going on, that I probably handled the pandemic a lot better than anybody probably knew. And I even surprised myself. And it's because my attitude is, what will be, will be. And I survived what seemed like would kill me, going through the divorce and so much madness and craziness, like I said, before the pandemic, that it really prepared me for Corona. And of course, I did what you need to do naturally to, not get sick. And one of the biggest things I understood is that you got to have a healthy immune system. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of research on things that you can take to help your body fight off any type of infection. And one of the biggest things, and I heard a medical reporter say this, drink lots of hot liquids during the pandemic, because when the virus comes in, it sits on the back of your tongue for a couple of days before it even goes any further. So if you're drinking a hot liquid with lemon, with, honey is a natural antibiotic, yeah. And the apple cider vinegar and lemon and turmeric, giving a little history lesson here, a little turmeric and
all those things are so effective. You're right.
Yes, and it helps to fight infection. So the most I got was maybe a runny nose, or I don't even think I got a cough during that time, but maybe my sinuses. I have issues with sinuses every year, but I know what to do. And oil of oregano, I don't know if anybody knows, that's like to me, the best kept secret. Oil of oregano.
Powerful.
Yes, very powerful for building up the immune system. So I learned what I needed to do to take care of myself.
Excellent. Yeah, it was some while ago as well that I had one of my health mentors point out the oil of oregano, the olive leaf extract, and like you said, the apple
just have
cider.
to do what you have times when.
Yeah. Very, very true. So that being said, I caught something interesting. You mentioned that because you faced hurdles and overcome obstacles long before the pandemic showed up. You felt in a position to face what was coming. And you really hit the nail on the head with that we don't like the tests that are placed in front of us. Ooh. But when we come out on the other side, we're pretty much unstoppable because we've been through it. We've been through it. So, question for you, what is your opinion? Do you think that you choose your calling, or does your calling choose you?
I feel like the calling chooses you, and that you have to learn and understand what it is. I'm also in ministry, and so I got definite impressions of what it is that I needed to do, that I just wasn't called to live whatever a so-called normal life is, but I was, called to live, a life that included, my spirituality, and not just this physical being, my intellect, my mind, mind, soul, spirit, how much they all play a part in who we're called to be. So I feel like I've been called, wooed into what I'm doing, and that it's not any mistake that I've done everything that I've done in life. And especially the hardships. Actually, the hardships make you stronger. Mm-hmm. Even though I went through a season of probably over a year where I cried my eyes out every night and thought I'd never stop crying. But at the end of that, I was a stronger person. And I thought, my God, who would think you'd go through all that and you'd come out stronger at the end? And it's true. The things that you go through, the trials, the tribulations, that actually help make you stronger and more equipped to face the things that you need to face in life. So it's a gift, but you don't know it when you're going through it, because all you're thinking is, get me out of here. I don't want to do this. What's going on? And so I went through it, and now I'm here talking to you today.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And that actually serves as a powerful tool for any of our listeners that are facing their tests now, to remember, don't confine yourself to today, and don't even, stay stuck in what might be tomorrow. Think a year from now, 5 years from now, what purpose does this serve, and who can I help lift because of what I'm facing today? That's beautiful. So, also curious, what are you working on? What new projects of yours should we be on the watch for?
Well, I'm working on a book called I Kiss Failure Goodbye.
Nice.
I feel like I did welcome it for a season because I didn't know that I was welcoming it. And, a lot of times when you have a lot of losses, it wears you down. But once you become aware of what's going on, it's like, hey, I have some control over some of these things that are happening. Not that I have control over everything, but I have control over my attitude. I have control over how I plan my day to be successful. And when you realize the tools that you do have, you use them to fight your way out, to get out of, maybe you've been in something so long you didn't even realize the depth of what it was. And then when you finally realize, hey, I'm coming up for fresh air, it's a new day, I've got some choices, I am going to grab that tiger by the tail and then, hey, I'm going forth. Nice. And it's a decision. Life is about decisions. You can decide to stay where you are, or you can pull yourself up by the back, the back straps of your boot and say, I'm getting up out of this. I'm getting out of this. I'm going to do better.
You still there? I think
you might. And it's a choice. How about you, Yvonne?
Yeah. And we heard you say, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And what came after that?
Yes. And pulling myself up by the bootstraps, realizing that I don't have to stay in this uncomfortable, undesirable position, that I can make some choices to move forward, to be better, and to surround myself with people that are striving to do better and be better. And what happens is they become like your new family, and we encourage each other and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you tried that? You want people to spark, a light in you, because we are the light, and the light shines brighter the more you do and become all you were meant to be. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. So sounds like there's two vital components you mentioned there. First and foremost, you have to believe in the power that you contain. And
yes.
You have to make those necessary decisions. And the thing is, what's really funny there is if you pause and you fail to do it, you'll never know what's waiting for you. So you're so right. You have to do it. And then also when you mentioned surrounding yourself with the right people.
Oh, yes.
It's very commonly understood. You are the reflection of the 5 people that you spend most of your
time. Come on
now. Birds of a feather, you got to go seek your tribe. Seek those that are going to be like you and help lift each of you collectively. That's beautiful. Very true.
Yeah.
So also, curious, this is more of a hypothetical question. If you could go back in time 20 years and you had just 2 minutes to confront yourself, what are you saying? What would you say?
I would say, girl, you can make it. You will make it. Just believe in what you feel and know to be true and walk toward it. Run toward it when you can. Sometimes you can't run. Walk, take the tiny steps. They will lead to bigger steps. And more important than that, show up. When you show up, magic happens. Things fall into place. I think I told you this the other day. When you show up, I showed up. Hey, I got married. When I showed up, I had children. When I showed up, I finished a college degree. When I showed up, and what I mean by that is doing the work.
You still there with us?
As long as you finish the assignments, you will get through it.
We're going to have you go back to the beginning there, because you mentioned doing the work. And what came after that?
Yes. You must complete the assignments. You show up, you do what's necessary. And sometimes you might show up, and depending on what the situation is, you may not know what's next. But someone will come and give you some information that you needed to make the next step. It's amazing. When you have a desire to do the best that you know how to do, more is given. It reminds reminds me of in the Bible when it talks about the man with the talents. One was given 1 talent, 5 talents, 10 talents. And, when the master returned, he was giving out rewards. And so he, found out the one with the 10 talents did what he needed to do with the 10 and multiplied them. And he was like, okay, great servant. The one with the 5 talents had the 5. He did what he needed to do with the 5 and did more. Again, he was rewarded. The one with the 1 talent said, oh, I was afraid. I was afraid you'd be mad if I didn't do the right thing. And so you don't get rewarded for that, because you have to try. And because he didn't try, he was called a wicked servant, because he wouldn't at least, do what was necessary to make the 1 multiply. And so, that's a good thing to know, that you just have to try. You even if you fail, at least you try, and you get more information than you have than if you hadn't tried at all, right? When you try again, you'll find out, oh, I shouldn't have done that part. This part's okay. So when you get ready to do it again, you've got more information. So really, failure isn't failure. The only failure in life is not to do anything at all. Absolutely. That's where the issue lies. But if you get up, go forward, you will be successful over time. I'm not going to say it'll happen tomorrow or next week. Sometimes it takes years for people to get where they want to be. But you keep trying, you keep stepping up to the plate. I'm not going to say you may not take a day or 2 or a week off. You might need to.
Oh, Lisa.
The point is, you keep moving toward what you believe is possible.
Very, very true.
Yes.
And I love that point you're making too, because anytime we see something that we think is overnight success, what we didn't see was the years that went into getting there. So the blood, the sweat, the tears, like you mentioned, the failures, which really were just opportunities to take a pause and get back up.
Exactly.
Get back up, you're stronger. So you are so right. And, it's been such an honor to have you here today. We're going to see if anyone wants to in the audience get in touch with you. What is the best means for them to reach out?
Well, the best place to catch me is Facebook, Instagram, Cassandra McKissack, and I'm sure you'll make my name available. Also, hopefully you can spell Cassandra, Cassandra, McKissack, MC, capital Kissack, McKissack. So I'd love to connect with you and see what's going on. Yeah, and I do have a website, HTTP. I'm so sorry. Not that one. That one we decided to delete. This is a new one. It's BIT, all lowercase, BIT .ly/ the spelling of my name, and it's capital C. It is uppercase and lowercase, like we do when we spell our name. So capital C and then lowercase ASSANDRA, capital M, little c, capital KISSACK. So I'd love to hear from you. And hey, if you're looking for a coach, mindset coach, and I also teach you consulting strategies to be successful online, I'd love to help you with it. I help coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs. So
wonderful. Well, we're definitely going to include all that information on the description, so anyone who's listening can easily just click through and contact you.
Awesome.
Thank you again for stopping in. We ask that you continue to shine your light bright. And for all of those who are listening today, remember, stand tall in your superpower. When you think you're weak, that's when you're the strongest. So thank you all for joining us. And until next time, stay safe, stay bright. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to share this video and like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at NewYouWow. Until next time, stand tall in your power, and remember, your belief in yourself is your superpower.